Wow, legendary. Thank you.
You are legendary.
Let us reflect.
Right,
We put out a lot of NFL players, even though we didn't have the program like at Penn State. We actually were, even back then, before we had the success of the 80s and 90s, we still churned out a lot of NFL top picks.
Right. That's what my next question was going to be. Did you think going there you would be exposed to NFL scouts more than possibly you would have Penn State?
A day, or 2 or 3 die in a ball a day, and that's what I did for 6 weeks.
What effect would that have?
You know, to this day, obviously, PEDs and steroids back then, that they have an effect. I think half of it was for me was the mental.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing the stuff like the bodybuilders do. So I put on like quite a bit of weight in a short period of time. So my first experimentation was I felt highly effective at the time.
Okay. The training you receive from Matt Suda, and you're in the business, and you're exposed to maybe politics for the first time. You're exposed to other workers. Was that a culture shock? Like football, like leaving Penn State to go to Miami. What was it like for someone who doesn't have the background and really understand the business to all of a sudden be thrust in a world where everybody puts themselves first, and you really, like, you know what I mean, where politics are important and how you play the game. Did you pick that up right away? Or
well, that's a good question. I guess the expression ignorance is bliss. I knew so little about wrestling. My first match I went to, my debut in the Daytona, Ric Flair, of course.
He gravitated
scouted
towards
me
you?
down in Florida. We had a couple matches, and he really brought me in.
Right.
Convinced the Crockett's and Dusty Rhodes and the people at Mid-Atlantic to bring me into the TBS thing, and I had no idea. I didn't know, getting back to my ignorance is bliss, so to speak. Everybody's like, man, you're gonna be one of the 4 horsemen. I go, I guess. I didn't know who the 4 horsemen were. And who this guy? There's something special about him. So I was getting kind of jealous, kind of competitive with him. So I kind of blew him off and didn't talk to him. And we had a match, and I tried to blow him up in the match. I was the heel. I was leading the match. So I didn't want to make him look too good.
Right.
And but we never really had any real exchange. Finally, I'm looking back now, he wanted to break the ice between us. So I'll never forget, I was in Oklahoma City after the matches. He did the match before me. He walked up and said, tried to be nice to me and put me over, appealed to my egos. Hey man, being around you now, how do you keep that physique and your training, nutrition, and everything? He came from a bodybuilding background. On the road like this, the way we travel and everything, he goes, man, it's remarkable. Anything special you do with your training and nutrition? Like trying to break the ice.
Right.
I didn't even look up at him. I kept unlacing my boots, and I said, Stolies and peanut M&Ms. And I kind of stopped for a second because he stood there, I think in astonishment, that could this guy be really jumping around?
Well, that's what we're doing. There's no. This is reflections. There's no script here.
There you go. That's for sure.
No, there's no script. One of the interesting things, I don't know if anybody will find this interesting, but I'm interested in it. There was the Yokozuna Slam Challenge.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And you're all set to go. You're in the helicopter. You're on your way there, and
almost wet my pants.
Yeah.
The guy was an ex-Vietnam pilot. He wanted to show off to me. I'd never been in a helicopter ride before, and we had no seatbelts on. The doors were open. He's tilting the plane over towards the Hudson River as we're coming down towards the... he's a cool island boy.
Right.
He goes, hey, brother, just get a wide stance. I'll do all the rest. I mean, in other words, don't fall down. I'll slam myself.
Okay.
Yeah, what a talent.
Read in your book, I found this very, very interesting. You break kayfabe with Hogan during commercial.
Yeah.
And he...
Am I an idiot or what?
And he threatens to punch you?
Let me think how this exactly went. I'm in the ring, nose to nose. It's really intense. I mean, it was an intense atmosphere.
It was one of the biggest moments ever.
We went to commercial. The guy goes, commercial, 2 minutes, we're black, or whatever they say. And so we stared. I felt kind of uncomfortable. So finally, I didn't say anything, but I just kind of smirked. Like smiled, like, well, we're dark, so. I was like, I'm going to win the title? They go, yeah. On TV tonight? Like live TV? They go, yeah. I was like, I always have got along, so I was heartbroken for him. I was just like, oh my gosh. The stuff I did in my life, if there had ever always been cameras there,
sure,
and done or said, maybe in a different light, maybe not a racist thing, but I mean, maybe I thought I'd done so much bad stuff at that point and disgraced myself, my family, wrestling, that wrestling was never going to have anything to do with me again. I was shocked that the fans that I bump into were still, hey, Lex, good to see you out again, man. I was like, that's why I always tell people from my heart, wrestling fans are the greatest fans on the planet.
Right. That you went through, jail, tragedy, whatever, you have this feeling, you have Pastor Steve come to your life, and then you have this moment in a hotel room with Pastor Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
actually, there was a week lead up to that I didn't go into detail in my book.
Okay.
But
you don't have to go in detail, but can you shed a little light?
I went to my first church service the week before, April 16th of 06.
Okay.
And Dr. Marvin Frady, who just passed away, he was my earthly spiritual dad, passed away just after my dad.
Wow.
And Dr. Frady gave a Sermon on the Mount. I didn't know what that was because I never had my amen and being professional. And to him, it didn't matter to him whether he won or lost the match in the script.
Right.
It really didn't to him. In my opinion.
Right. Did he ever talk about it to you? Did he ever
talked about it? Yeah. People were, and he was just thrilled to be at the event and take in a WrestleMania and actually be in the ring. And at his age,
right?
He jokes about it. Man, my age, to be able to get in and do stuff in the ring. He goes, whether I won or lost. He's like, that didn't even. He's like, other people talk about that because that wasn't even in my mind. I was at WrestleMania.
Right. I think if that is what they go by, if that is the guideline, then you should be judged on your whole life, not just part of your life. And your whole life now is all about inspiration.
Yeah.
And that's the lives that you've touched now probably outweigh everything you've done in the past and the life you live now.
Well, very kind of words, my friend.
I mean,
Can I have you talk to?
I'm calling Vince right after off here.
Thank you. I appreciate that, but yeah, it'd be a great honor. But if it ever comes,
right?
Yeah.
You don't need that kind of validation.
Yeah, it's greatly underestimated what he steered and did with the Monday Night Wars, and what people thought would never happen with WCW even surpassing WB in ratings and stuff. Eric was a huge part of that. He was really the leader of the company.
Right.
I don't even know if he really gets the full credit. And to contrary, people think Vince and I used to work out at the gym together.
I was just going to ask you if you ever worked out together.
Oh my gosh!
Did he ever come
to you for
advice like bodybuilding? Did he ever?
Oh yeah, we were very close. We shot all those bodybuilding shows and hung out for days on end.
What was he like in the gym?
Oh man, she had a very sweet spirit, and she was revered by the fans, and I mean, just the first lady of wrestling.
Right.
And my gosh, what a career she had with Randy, and I never detected any bitterness or anger with her. The relationship had been long over. Very forgiving girl. I was kind of blown away when I first met her because she was just a class act.
Right.
Yeah, both what she projected on TV ignites something.
Right.
Because our ratings had dipped a little bit, I think, at the time. I'm thinking back now. And Kevin had the respect in the locker room with the boys, but he went out the first pay-per-view and did a job for Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, if I could do this, let's all pull together here as a team, and you know what I mean? When we're in the garden. He goes, yeah, because my dad did this. I go, why do you do that? And Vince goes, because kind of like the Frank Sinatra song, he said, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Because I listen and watch and listen. Don't just watch the guy in the ring, but the crowd. Because if someone's got something special, it can be that they don't like him, or there's a buzz when he walks to the ring just by how he looks. Because I goes, that could be money. Now,
right. Yes.
A dear friend who came and visited me when I was in the hospital with my spinal cord injury all the time, and wanted me to start like getting me to do my yoga before they ever said I could move anything from the neck down.
Right.
They said I probably wouldn't, and you gotta do you gotta do the yoga, and just an amazing guy. Prided myself on that because they always utilized me. They thought I was a good enough heel or a good enough top kind of baby face that when that happened, people don't realize someone got injured.
Right.
They'd switch me, and some of the guys came to me. Rick told me one time, he said, Lex, you're one of the few guys I've seen who can be a baby face one month, and a month later, if they haven't turned the TV on, you're a heel.
It was the work after wrestling that has inspired me the most.
Oh, well, thank you.
So.